I forgot what it felt like to be in here,
Hmm.
This has been so long, but I love it. As soon as the headphones go on, I feel like more I'm supposed to be. So, anyway, we were just talking a little bit about a couple of things that should probably be mentioned on here, which one of them you were talking about video editing, right? And not wanting to do it yourself, but hiring it out,
Yeah.
but like in-house,
Hmm.
hiring somebody dedicated to that specific task
Hmm.
versus going to Upwork or Fiverr or, some third-party company because like, you hand off a video and then you got to wait a week for it to come back and hope it's right. You know what I mean? And then if it's not right, wait for the corrections to come back and blah, blah, blah.
I was just thinking, even if it was a third party hire
Mm-hmm.
or a third party, 1099 contractor, I would still just say, hey, I'm gonna film everything on Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to come in the afternoon and edit all of it,
Yeah.
and that's what I want you to focus on.
Okay, so we're back. And what were you were saying if you were to hire a third party company or something, you'd say you're recording on Thursdays and then, you want them in here.
Yeah, I would want them in here so I could simply know the product is gonna be done by the time they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just had a run in, and this is what I wanted to mention on here was I just hired two separate people. I tried Fiverr in the past. Uh, I hired some guy to do some 3D renderings, and this dude,
ChatGPT, the
yeah,
living hell out of it.
yep. I gave him a set of plans. I even gave him a 3D file because he told me he was going to be using a specific software that I was looking for. So I gave him a 3D file from my software that you would just have to upload into the software that he said he was going to use, and then it would give you, you can edit some stuff and make a realistic rendering. Um, nope, he uploaded it into ChatGPT, gave me a couple of renderings from that, which were very clearly not the plans I gave him. I mean, just not even close. So one of them was sort of close, but the rest of them were so far off it was ridiculous. And he tried to play it off like he spent a bunch of time on it and, was mad that I wanted a refund. So I ran away from Fiverr and I said, I'm not going to use Fiverr again. I'm going to use Upwork, which is a little bit different because you can post a job and then people can bid on it, right? They can say, hey, I can do it for this price or I can do it for this price. I'd love to work with you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, versus Fiverr where you just kind of pick one and ask them to do the work, right?
Yeah, I can see how that could be a little different.
And you can do the same thing on Upwork where you just pick one and ask them to do the work, but it's better, but still I had two people do that, right? I gave two people two different tasks. One do this, one do this. One of them wanted to do it hourly, and I said that's fine. Should only take a couple hours, right? If you know what you're doing on these softwares.
Hmm.
And then the other one gave me a job total. Um, one of them was okay. I got about, I would say, to 60% of what I wanted, and then I've been working on
Hmm.
finishing it myself. So that was good. I was happy to spend the $150 to give me 60% of a finished product. You know what I mean?
But you and I know you're probably getting here, but you're saying the one who went job wise
Per job. Yep.
was a better quality than the one who wanted to work per hour.
Right.
Hmm.
So, yeah, the one that did per job gave me, like I said, 60% of a finished product, but then also did it in a software that I'm able to use to edit the rest of it. Not that I know how to use that software, I learned, but it wasn't worth going back and forth with them 160 times to try and get it to be perfect because I didn't really know what that was until I was working on it myself,
Hmm.
right? Which is similar to video editing, right? And why I'm not giving any videos to people on those
Yeah, no.
websites at the moment. Um, and then the other one charged me hourly, $25 an hour, I think, whatever it was. Um, and just copy and pasted the words that I gave her onto a sheet, a PDF, and put a couple of stock images, of some houses on it. And I said, that's not what I asked for. I asked for this. And she goes, oh, okay. and then charged me for 10 hours of work. And then did a revision for me. I said, okay, all right, we're getting closer, and then charged me for another 10 hours. And I was like, okay, we're done. Like I was like, just approve everything. I'll approve everything and I'll pay you and we'll walk away. And she goes, are you sure you happy with everything? I was like, absolutely not, but I'm not doing this anymore. I was like, I've told you what I wanted to fix. You didn't even do that. You just gave me something a little bit different. And so I'm done. So
7 revisions later.
yeah, to your point.
$3,000 down the drain.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Did I get you what you wanted, master?
Yeah, yeah. And that's the whole thing. Like I gave her, I don't know, 7 or 8 examples of what I wanted, and then basically a breakdown or a rundown of what my company vision is and what my branding messages
Wasn't
are.
good enough.
And so the first lady took that stuff and made something, again, about 60% of what I needed. And then the second one gave me nothing. Like I just
Gave you what an employee
Yeah.
that is remote would give you.
Yeah. So what I did, so the first one was like kind of more important. The second one was only a couple of page document that I needed done. So I said whatever, I paid her, and then I just redid everything. I didn't even use a word that she gave me back. I redid all of it in 3 or 4 hours yesterday by myself. And it took her 20 hours to give me nothing.
Oh, I love that tool. When you, and this is the thing, is what I've learned about graphic design, at least, is if I can see an example I like,
Yep.
that's all I need.
Right. My issue is like with this kind of stuff is relaying what I want it to look like. You know what I mean? Like website's a great example. I've had a couple of people that I've tried to build a website with. And I'm like, yeah, I just want it looking, kind of modern and sleek and this. And then they're like, okay. So they give me something. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not really what I had in mind. They're like, that's exactly what you told me. And I was like, I mean, you're right. I just, I don't know how to build a website. So I can't go in and tweak the little things that I want to tweak. But I also can't explain to them exactly how I want it to look because I don't know until I start tweaking things. And I'm like, oh, I like this. You know what I mean?
Well, that's honestly most of anyone I deal with software. That's how it is.
Yeah.
I have an idea, and then once I put an idea into Vision, they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, that's not really what I wanted." And I'm like, "This is what you said. This is what you said."
Yeah.
To
So
the T.
that's why I'm not going to be hiring anybody else to do stuff like that for me. I will dink around with what I can by myself until I have an employee, because then I can pay an employee who hopefully has some experience, but also, I can sit there with them and make them do the dink around stuff that I don't,
Yes.
you know what I mean? I don't have to learn a whole
No,
new.
hey, well, why isn't this? It doesn't go down the screen the right way. Oh, you're talking about the flow rate of the page.
Well, yeah,
And it's the thing is like you just need the person who speaks the tech to
Yeah.
do the tweaks, but the tweaks you're trying to dictate.
yeah, but also so for instance, on the one document that I was making, I wanted to try a couple different texts, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to have somebody make 7 copies and send me 7 different texts.
But for an employee, you can easily go, "Hey,
sit behind them and say, try that one. Nope, try that one. Okay, that's the one right there. Now do you know what I mean? It's just so that's
Makes
what I'm
sense.
gonna. Yeah, because I can't explain in words how I want everything to be finished because I don't know until I start messing with it. So yeah, someday soon, hopefully that'll be
1080-10.
Yeah. Well, luckily that one person, and I might do something with her in the future. That one person was able to give me something that wasn't complete garbage.
Well, that's the thing is you didn't even give her really 10. Yes, you gave her the brand, but that's as easy as going onto your website now and going, okay, I'm gonna.
Well, that's what she
mold
did.
it. Well, that's the thing is your 10% in the beginning was really like starting from scratch because you really didn't have anything.
Yeah. So what I gave her was 3 example documents of people who have done what I'm trying to do.
Mhm.
So I gave her 3 of those, and I said, I want this, but branded for me, right? And so she went on the website, and then I also gave her my whole marketing document that shows, what my brand's supposed to be and blah blah blah. And yeah, again, she did what she could. She pulled stuff off of the website, which is funny because I didn't even ask her to do that. She did, and
It was wrong.
which was wrong, but she took the initiative to say, all right, let me find this company, let me find their brand, and pulled all this stuff. And I'd changed that part, but the rest of it was, like I said, she got close. So
But in that sense, you did 1070, a little bit extra back there on the 20, but
yeah, I probably gave her 10, 10, 60, 40 or 10, 60, 30. That's where we're at. That's about what happened. But it was good. So
I butchered my maths. I said 20.
yeah. But because you said 70, so you were good. Doesn't matter. We're not gonna.
Well, no. No matter what, I did 10 in the beginning, 60, and then 20 to get to 90. I didn't even get to 100.
No.
If we roll it back, I never even got to 100.
Oh, we'll roll it back. You did because you said 1070 instead of 1080 10. You said 1070 20. Which
Well,
is
the
100.
70 would have been you in the beginning and her to get to the 70.
Oh. Well, you said 70. It added up. Doesn't matter.
Oh, well, regardless,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was short 10 because I didn't put it in there, and then you said it afterwards. I was like, oh, yeah, definitely messed that math up.
Well, either way, yeah. So to go into what you were talking about, where it's some of these things I've learned because I've tried it. Right, it's better off if I just wait a little bit until I can have somebody help me with those things in house, so that I'm not spending $1 million to waste somebody's time because I don't know the answer yet. You know what I mean?
But I'm still going to put out a product, though.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, at least like for the videographer, whoever, the video editor, however you
Yeah.
want to call it. Like, I can still put out videos, but not as high quality.
Yeah. Have you seen our podcasts?
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying is something's better than nothing
Right.
when it comes to trying to. And let me restate that. Something is not always better than nothing. If you're professional enough, something is better than nothing.
Right. And that's the whole thing. I mean, you see how I edit these. It's legitimately garbage, but at least there's a section where we're talking, so that part's going out. So yeah, someday we have somebody that is able to edit them and make them actually.
I'm curious to see the edit today.
Yeah, and like after I came back in because I thought it wasn't recording, I messed up the camera, and I've been looking at it. It's still messed up, so we're gonna be slightly crooked this whole
I
time.
see that.
I'm gonna have to take it in the edit and freaking just rotate it just a hair. To try
It's going to be interesting. But either way, even
Yeah.
if it's two-piece, hey, we're at different angles. So what?
Yeah. Yeah, out of nowhere, we're from over here.
If anything, at the end of the day, it's a podcast, so the voice is all
Yeah.
that matters.
Most of our listeners, the two that we have, were on Spotify. We had one full-time Spotify listener and one full-time YouTube. So it's pretty wild. But yeah, now that we've got a camera that works, we've got all the stuff set up, and we'll hopefully be back in here weekly. It's just been such a ridiculous year. We tried to start back up a couple months ago, and then everything's been a little wild. So, but now that I think we're in a better place now to actually go back to how we were at the beginning. Maybe not quite that ridiculous, although we should. You know what I mean? That would be killer. Be back in it 3 days a week.
Well, the thing is, the only way that we did that, though, it was in the mornings, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, like, mornings.
Yeah, 5 a.m. we were here.
Yeah, it would. The thing is, though, I'm pretty sure. Don't you bring kids in? Don't I bring? Like, it would have to be probably even earlier.
Yes and no. Or, like for you, yes. Like I don't have to bring the kids in. Actually, I don't bring the kids in. She brings the kids in on her way to work now, and I just help get the kids ready, right? Which she doesn't need that, but it's nice to be present for that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. I don't think we can do that unless.
It'd have to be even early, and that's what I'm saying is like it would have to be when we were going to the gym at
3 a.m.
3 a.m. and then just rolling into a podcast right after at 4, and then being able to
Go all the way
leave
back
here at 5-ish to be able to do everything we need.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's you know, then you get no sleep.
I know. So
Yep.
goals or sleep, choose one.
Yeah, well, my goal is sleep, oddly enough, because I've been averaging. I got the Fitbit. I've been averaging just under 6 hours every night for about 30 days. And now that I'm able to track it, you know, I've been tracking it for longer than that, but this is the first time I've consistently tracked it. It's been like 5 days a week I track it, 6 days, but this was exactly 30 days in a row, and I've averaging just under 6 hours, which is shitty because I'm in bed with enough time for like 8.5 to 9 hours, but that's how much I'm not sleeping.
That's on you.
Yeah, like I'm in bed before like 8:30, and alarm set for 5:30, right? So that's 9 hours. I could easily be getting 9 hours of sleep, but I'm not sleeping. It takes me an hour and a half to finally fall asleep, and then I'm up. Oh, on average, 44 times is I wake up 44 times throughout the night.
Get rid of your dogs.
Which some of it's the dogs, but most of it's not. You know, most of it's one of my kids will have a night scream randomly, which is the funniest thing. It was scary at first, because you don't know, you're a new parent, you don't know what's going on. But like now, it's hilarious. It like randomly 2:30 in the morning, one of them will go, "Wow!" and they're right back asleep. You're like, "What the hell is that?" But but yeah, it's just it's a mixture of things. A lot of it is my head, and I don't know what it is specifically, but I can't shut it off. Like,
I mean, it's the same thing for me, but
yeah.
I tend to work
What do you mean?
to progress. Anything that I have to do, I just when I go down and lay in bed at like 8:30, for the most part, I'll have YouTube playing in the corner and I'm doing work. Like I'm coding or
Yeah, yeah.
doing some type of software to not because my thing is my head does not shut off.
Mhm.
So I'm tired of trying to shut it off. If it's
Yeah.
not gonna shut off, cool. When I get tired, I get tired.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I'm tired of trying to fight something and go. Well, I'm thinking of like these 5 ideas. Oh, I'm gonna try to distract my brain on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, not working. No, I'm just gonna do what my head's telling me to do.
Right.
That me
No,
personally,
you're absolutely right, and I
it
do
just
do
it
that.
kills me.
Sometimes, like if it's really bad, I do that. I get up and I just go to the office and I work. But then I'm up till midnight, 1 o'clock. You know what I mean? And then I don't. And then there's no sleep at all. And then I'm down to 3 hours of sleep, and then the next day, shit. You know.
Hmm.
And I just don't know what the answer is. You know what I mean? It's even like right now, the least stressed I've been my entire life. Finally, right? Like I've decided when I turned 30, I talked about it a little bit, but I've had this revelation where I just don't care. You know what I mean? Nothing bothers me to the point of stress, and if it does, I don't deal with it. I don't want to deal with it, so I let somebody else. Like if it's a job or something, I just let somebody else do it. You know what I mean? So I don't have the stress. You know what I mean? Like I'm not worried about paying my bills. I'm not worried about the kids. Like everything's fine. But for some reason, when I sit down or lay down at night, a million and 100 things are going through my mind. Like, oh, I got to do this. I want to do this. I want to try this. I want to go do this. And it just doesn't stop. And I don't know how to make it stop. It used to be stress related. Like, oh, how am I going to get this done? I got to solve this problem. I got to fix that. Now it's no stress. It's still doing it though. So I'm working on figuring that out.
Oh,
I read or I listened to Huberman. You know who he is? Andrew
nope.
Huberman. He's a brain doctor or something like that. And he said something about taking magnesium. Oh, it was Gary Brecka. You know who that is?
Yes, I do know who that is. But if you ever say melatonin,
No, not
that is
melatonin.
the for me personally, that is the most BS shit in the world. And I know I just said BS shit. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. But I could sit there and take 40 milligrams. I literally doesn't make me sleepy, and it pisses me off.
I've never done melatonin, and I won't for that reason too. But I've taken like Unisom or actual sleeping pills, and it'll make me sleepy. I'll fall asleep, but I'm still waking up 100 times. So it's not worth it. But Brecka or Huberman or both of them, probably on two different things, said to take There's a magnesium. I don't know which one. There's like 40 different types of magnesium, and one of them's supposed to help calm your mind before sleep. And then there's something called SAMe, which I don't know what that is. I think it's another type of
Sounds
magnesium.
like a radio show.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to SAME 97.1. But yeah, so they say if you take those two like 30, 45 minutes before bed, um, and so that's one of those
Well,
things.
then I got to remember to take something before bed, and then it's
Well, that's not it. But the problem is, like, I listened to them and then didn't write it down, and now I can't find them again. So I just have
sounded
it
good.
somewhere in the back of my head that there's two things I should be taking, and then I research. I couldn't find the exact one, so I gotta. But that would be my next thing is I want to try those two. But then I spend
Sleep
$40 on a
study.
bottle. You know what I mean? And okay, now you got to take it for 60 days before it actually works or some shit. And then I'm like, well, who's gonna? How am I gonna remember to take it for 60 full days? When the one bottle only lasts 20, now I gotta buy.
It's funny you're saying that.
Gotta
And
subscribe to the membership.
you got people out there who are, diabetic, high blood pressure, low cholesterol. They have to take a pill 3 times a day. They don't miss it at all. It's
Well,
like,
you know what? That's yeah. I just got my wisdom tooth out, right? So I gotta get, and I have a
if you're thinking about it, oh, it's there. You just have to make it apparent.
yeah. So I got that out, and then the deal. Pulled it out, stitched it up. The next day, this one of the stitches ripped out, so I got a dry socket. So it was horrible pain. In case anybody's wondering, don't do that. So 1 week later, stitched it back up. One day after that, stitches ripped out, got another dry socket. So I literally just have a gaping hole back there, and he's like, "Oh, it'll close up someday." So it doesn't hurt as bad now, but sometimes it does, right? But for those 3 weeks, yeah, you bet I didn't miss my pills. It was, I mean, you knew after 6 hours and that stuff started wearing off. It was like, "Hey, buddy, you're gonna want to re-up. You're gonna want to re-up now." And actually, one of the nights I took Unisom, the first time like that it opened up and I realized it was a dry socket. It was like 3 a.m. and I'll never forget it. Like I took Unisom and I was actually sleeping, and then 3 a.m. it was like, oh my god, it woke me up. I broke my leg. Okay, I have never once used an ice pack on anything. I got up. I immediately took as many meds as was legally possible at that point, and then put an ice pack on my face. And
That's when you're just looking at the bottle, eyes barely open, just, is that 4 for my poundage?
yeah, exactly.
Or is that 7? I'm gonna gamble with 7 today.
Yep. I took the max dosage and was like, "You better start working now," and then put that ice pack on there and laid down for 30 minutes. I was like, I'm gonna have them surgically remove my jaw. I don't think I want it anymore. so so yeah. Anyway, all that to say, I probably remember to take pills if they work. If they work, there's no way that I'm gonna forget.
Yeah,
But
but that's the thing. It's 60 days until they work.
well, I don't know if that's it, but
But there are multiple different types of.
there's a lot of vitamins and shit that say, yeah, you do this for 60 days and then you'll start seeing results. And
It's like, yeah, you mean 2 months before I decide to say no? At least you got 2 months out of me.
yeah, and then you read the dosage on the bottle and it says it lasts 2 weeks, and you're like, you son of a, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna make me you're gonna make me buy 5 bottles, and then wait to see if it's gonna work, right? And then at that point, what the,
What now?
yeah, so anyway. Um, I don't know where we were at or what we were even talking about before all that.
I don't know. You got into your dry socket.
Yeah, into my hole, which is so funny because, so when my wife works at the dental office, right? So she says, hey, after it opened up again a week later, she says, hey, he wants to take a look at your hole, right? And I text her back and said, hey, I charge for that. You have to subscribe to my OnlyFans. I'm not gonna be. I'm not just gonna let anyone see my hole. What is this? But yeah, it's funny because I just have a hole back there, and it's annoying. I got to clean it out all the time. It's like, ooh. So, but yeah, it hurts really bad. So if anybody hasn't gotten their wisdom teeth out, when they tell you don't use a straw because you're gonna get a dry socket, I didn't use a straw, by the way. I didn't do anything wrong. It just was such a giant tooth that it was like he told me like he didn't think the stitches were going to work because it was such a big tooth. It was the biggest one he'd ever removed, and sure enough, they didn't work. So I had to deal with that. But
I don't know. I was put under for all 4 of my wisdom teeth at one time.
yeah, that would have been nice though. I didn't get put under. I feel bad for my wife because she got all 4 removed without being put under, right? So like I didn't feel anything, but when they're when they're
yanking
freaking
on,
wrenching on you, and you're like, my fucking hands are clenched and I'm sweating. I got sweat rolling down. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, yeah."
it doesn't look so good from my point of view.
Yeah, it's just I would also like to get that tooth out of me.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, the
You
worst.
take my jaw as well.
Yeah, the worst part was they had this stretched and they were prying on it. So the next day was like I had.
You had a rusty fish hook.
Yeah. It wasn't rusty. This one was
You
not
wanted
rusty.
to see his hole.
Yeah. But yeah, all of their utensils had cut that open, right? So I was
Yeah.
like, I felt like the Joker for the next couple of days. Like, oh man, every time I opened my mouth, it reopened. I was like, oh. But yeah, no, my wife got all 4 removed without going under, and I was like, oh,
Was that before or after
huh?
Marine Corps?
No, she was in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, no, screw that.
Yeah. She didn't get any dry sockets though. She was literally the next day. She was like eating a cheeseburger, right? I couldn't. I was so since she's in dental, right? Every single time that I was like, "Ooh, it's starting to hurt." She's like, "Okay, bitch," and I'm like, "I'm pretty sure something's wrong. Like this isn't." I'm
Takes
pretty.
a look. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I was like, I'm pretty good with pain, but it feels like one of the stitches came out and there's a big hole back there. She's like, shut up, you're being a baby, right? And then the doc, I go in to see the doc a week after the first one, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's a dry socket. Oh my god, that's bad." And I was like, "Oh, thank God." I was like, if it's not, and I go in here right now, and you tell me that, oh no, everything's normal, I'm never.
It looks like you got a little bit of an infection. Not bad, just a little bit of swelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not what I'm feeling, doc.
Yeah, if he would have just said no, everything's healing fine, I was never gonna hear the end of it from my wife because so I was like the whole time I was like, oh God, I hope that it's bad, like, because if not and it hurts this bad, I'm never letting anybody touch my mouth again. I was like, this is ridiculous. I'll just break both my legs next time. I'm not doing this. I already know what that feels like. I can handle that.
Go into the dentist, break both your legs. Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Well, it'll distract me. Not being able to walk is much better. Much better than having a dry socket. I'll tell you that. It was rough. And if it weren't for our sister who knows the proper dosing medication or the proper dosing for, ibuprofen and Tylenol, I there ain't no way I was going to be a decent human being for the last couple weeks. I was going to be fucking pissed all day long. But she was like, "This is the max amount you take, and you take it this often." I said, "You got it." So, anyway, all right. Well, we'll stop talking about my holes. Anything else you want to say before we close this out?
Nope. I think everyone needs to close everything off right this second.
Alrighty. Well, hopefully we're back in here next week, and we have some extra stuff to talk about. I know there's a lot have happened over the past couple of months. I know we just tried to knock this one out quick today, but I know.
Yeah, and got sidetracked with your dry sockets.
That's okay. So yeah, I'm sure we've got hours of stuff to talk about. So hopefully we can get back in and start knocking that out. So, all right, sounds good. And we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks.